Awesome.
All right, welcome back to
Bling.
what's some say the best wrestling podcast on the internet.
Some us? Is that some us?
Yes. By some we mean us. Six Man Tech Podcast, another episode. We're back. Thanks for listening. If you're on Apple, Spotify, if you're watching on YouTube, welcome to video. I'm Mike. Joining me as always, it's CJ.
What's up, everybody? CJ Doyen, aka Craig Francis from back in the day, as you know, but I'm just going to keep moving right along because I was promised some gold today from my main man, Mr. Skylar Strange. Oh, God, what is that? We got some Doritos? Hey, hold on. Let me get some of that.
And then today we have a guest.
You son of a bitch.
Right. But always, why don't you guys there? We swing on. Oh man, it's all. Hold up.
You're still there.
Yep.
Please tell me you guys finally got that.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
All right. We're good now. Glitched out there for like 10-20 seconds, but I think we're back.
Oh, it's a good thing because as Skylar just gave us the hook, we're gonna move it on along.
Send Strange.
Oh man,
that actually sounds like a phrasing bit.
I got what I see. I picked up what you were laying down though, bud.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway,
send some Strange.
On to our new guest.
Another debut.
That's right.
You know him.
Here to make this the 8-man tag podcast for one night only.
We need a team of 4 to go against. Who's it going to be?
Horsemans.
The Horsemans, yeah. Well, I'm on that team too, though.
No, you're not. You're on the other side.
I'm not. Yeah, sorry.
Come on, get it right.
Three out of 4 horsemen with Wrecking Ball.
Anyway, our guest.
There it is.
From Northeast Wrestling.
Yep.
Everyone knows him. He's not really the whipping boy. He's rich though. He's got a lot of money. Welcome, Jared.
I pay for the whippings. That's right. Trust fund benefactor Jared Silberkleit.
That's how you do it.
Hitting the high note late at night here on the podcast.
It is late. Appreciate you coming on so late, by the way. That's just how we do things around.
Money never sleeps.
Neither do kids.
I was going to say, unfortunately, neither do children, apparently.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't have any of those.
Me neither.
It's true.
I was an only child. My parents love me very much.
That must be why you're so rich.
Exactly. I don't.
Oh, man.
I don't
inherit the money.
I don't do well with the whole sharing thing.
No. Well, that's you don't have to when you don't have siblings. That's a good thing you can get used to, I guess.
Exactly.
So, well, I guess first of all, 2 questions right off the bat. Where does this massive fortune come from? And 2, how did you become a pro wrestling manager?
Well, if you have any questions as to the family fortune, I suggest you Google the name Silberkleit, and you will see that my family name traces to the legendary Archie Comics empire. And that, my friends, is the story of my incredible wealth.
I used to read those when I was a kid. No joke.
Oh, yeah.
So, Sonic the Hedgehog ones in particular.
Hey,
that was part of Archie Comics, damn it.
Who's Sonic? Who's Tails?
Who's Knuckles?
Knuckles, that's it.
I'm Knuckles, obviously.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Oh man. Well, that's number 1. So now, how does someone with such a massive amount of wealth get into pro wrestling, and how does he become a manager?
Well, I got into pro wrestling about 12 years ago was my first foray. Basically, there was an independent promotion that was running down the road from my high school. I had friends who were friends with some of the wrestlers, and at the time I wanted to pursue sports announcing, sportscasting. So I figured I would get a foot in the door there as a ring announcer, would get some public speaking experience. And And I ended up latching on doing that kind of weekends here and there for a period of about 6.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
And then
Wait, hold on. Sorry, Jared. Sorry to cut you off, but you cut out there for a little bit.
7 in just about opposite manage on yeah. What was the last thing you guys heard?
I don't know. Like everything just like, all right. So like I think it just spit everything at us like in like some kind of like weird.
Last thing I remember is your friend, the high school, and your friends knew some of the rest.
Oh wow, we got really chopped then. Okay, so we going back to that. Okay, so all right, so I'm in high school. I have friends who know wrestlers at the independent level in Connecticut, and it turns out that there was a promotion that was running shows regularly down the road from my high school. Which Northeast Wrestling now runs events in this building. This is the NEW Arena in Bethany, Connecticut. However, another promotion used to call that place home, running monthly shows when I was in high school. This is like 12 years ago. So that's how I got involved, because I wanted to get involved as a ring announcer. I wanted to pursue sportscasting at the time. And I ended up just kind of latching on as, doing ring announcing for various independent promotions as kind of like a here and there thing for like 6-7 years. And then on a Northeast Wrestling show in 2017, 5 years ago, the opportunity came about to manage. I was just basically kind of given the opportunity one weekend where it was like, hey, we have this spot open. You've been doing announcing and commentary. So, you're comfortable speaking. We're going to give you a shot at this role. You think you can handle it? I said, yeah, it would be fun to cut promos for a change rather than just doing the straight man. And the first weekend went great. I was kind of thrown right into the fire and I really enjoyed it. So we got a good crowd response. So we kind of just rolled with it. And then since then, I mean, it's really seems like it's taken off. People seem to connect and resonate with what I'm doing out there. So I've been doing it for about 5 years. And I mean, I never thought I would pursue anything serious in wrestling before this, but now that this is kind of catching on, it's got me thinking, hey, let's see how far we can take this thing.
Nice. Now, in the time from around, we said 12 years, so around from 2010 to 2017, is there any formal wrestling training in the process, or are you kind of really just strictly there for announcing? And basically you're saying they kind of threw you into the fire. Like, I'm assuming, obviously you're around it, so you can at least pick up on things if you're not getting any kind of formal training, but you just kind of went in 1 week. Hey, go manage. Don't fuck up.
Right. Yeah, no, pretty much. And when I say thrown in the fire, I mean, this was not, one of the smaller, these were not like some of the smaller Northeast Wrestling events. Cause obviously we have the really big shows and then the more localized shows. But these were, I remember it was a double shot weekend with the first show being at one of the high schools in Waterbury, pretty big lineup there. And then the second show was at one of the baseball stadiums over in New York. I mean, these are pretty, sizable crowds with some pretty high caliber lineups. So it wasn't like, hey, just try this out in Bethany and then we'll see where it goes. It was kind of like, all right, sink or swim, kid. The first ever match that I was placed in, this was a match that was due to have involvement from Teddy Long and Jake the Snake Roberts. So it was,
was this a tag team match?
Oh,
players!
Or did it turn into a tag team match? It
turned into one. I think the way it ended up playing out actually
that's how you hold on. Teddy Long, does Teddy Long not know his gimmick, or does he not know his gimmick?
Oh, of course.
Goes on the indie show and they're just like, Teddy Long's here. What do we do with him? Have him introduce a tag team match that wasn't supposed to be a tag team match. That's fucking genius.
Can we get does he say one-on-one with the Undertaker even knowing he's not there?
You're gonna go one-on-one with the Undertaker.
Yeah, no, it was funny though, because as it turned out, neither Teddy nor Jake ended up having involvement, but Jake's snake, just the snake, ended up making an appearance. Damien. Ron Zombie, I remember, pulled out Damien and chased me and my team away at the end of this match. So we didn't get Teddy, we didn't get Jake, but we had the snake.
So your first involvement is dealing with Damien.
Correct.
Listen.
Are you afraid of snakes?
I would say I become uncomfortable around snakes. The number one creature that I go into an absolute panic when I'm around are bees. I hate bees.
Amen.
Are you allergic?
I'm not allergic because I've been stung 2 times as a kid, but they make me so freaking uncomfortable. The buzzing, it's like it's like when you're watching a scary movie, right? And the real terror is what you think is about to happen, not what actually happens, right?
Yeah.
It's like the freaking anticipation of those bees when they're buzzing and getting all close to your ear, like that drives me up the wall. But yeah,
bees and spiders get me, man. I don't. I'm a fraidy cat when it comes to bees and spiders. I run
full on bitch boy when I see a bee, man.
I know.
When I was 9, I stepped in a bee's nest barefoot.
Oh
wow.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Ouch is right.
My dad one time while doing yard work actually like ripped up a whole fucking bee's nest while like I think just weed whacking and stuff, and they all like swarmed him, and he just like had to dive into the pool and like hide underwater until they left him alone.
That is a total dad story. That's a total dad story.
And that, by the way, that happened before we got the in-ground pool. This was when we had a 3-foot above ground pool. So he had to like literally like hop over the wall to like get away from these bees.
See, the one time I got stung by a bee, I asked for it because I remember like it was a summer camp, and we're like playing suicide or whatever, throwing tennis ball against the wall and up in the corner.
Ball.
Yeah, wall ball. There you go. So up in the freaking the corner, the top corner near like the ventilation, the duct or whatever, bee's nest. And I had the brilliant idea. I wonder how. And it took me about 4 or 5 attempts before I actually hit the damn thing. But yeah, finally whacked the bee's nest, and the swarm comes a flying. So
I could see why you're afraid of them as now.
Yeah, not like I was asking for it, right?
No.
That incident is kind of me in a nutshell. I am a 100% button pusher.
Oh, well, I mean, sometimes you need that in a manager, so that's a good thing to have.
Quick side note earlier when you said you were thrown into the fire and Mike was clarifying it's wrestling, so I thought you were about to follow up with you were literally thrown into a fire.
Anything could happen.
No, we talked about this before. That's the second thing that they haven't done to me yet. They haven't buried me alive in concrete, and they haven't set me on fire
yet.
Right. Never say never.
No.
Oh man.
I think I've been on one independent show that had a fire spot. And I actually think that it was an attempt. Yeah, it was an attempted fire. I don't think that they were using the right kind of lighter fluid to get the table to catch. And it was one of those cases where if they had actually gotten the thing to light, they would have had a real hell of a time trying to put it out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, probably better that they didn't
exactly.
Somebody would have called the fire marshal.
No. So, like Joey Janela's foot.
Yeah,
oh my
right?
Gosh, yeah, that was silly.
My goodness, keep me far away from all that.
No, I don't like.
I'm afraid of Joey Janela too. I feel like he might get an STD just by walking.
Nah, Janela's a nice guy. Janela's a cool guy. Yeah.
I'm just joshing on him.
The like two things I think, like, not that I did a whole lot of like gimmick stuff or anything else, but like 2 things I definitely would try to avoid at all costs would be fire and thumbtacks. I never liked the thought of getting slammed on tacks.
So I've had a minimal involvement with thumbtacks, not on the receiving end. I was managing in this is the one death match that I've ever been involved in my career, which it was in New Jersey like 2 years ago. And so I get these boxing gloves covered in thumbtacks, and I was doing rock'em.
Wait a second. Simpsons did this.
Simpsons did it.
Yeah, they don't let you use that no more.
I love that episode.
That's a great one.
That's a class.
Yep. But it's so true. Like everything that's been done, The Simpsons.
I mean,
did it.
come on, they've been around for like 30 years. Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
true.
yeah. They got
And if The Simpsons didn't do it, now South Park has, because South Park's been around just about long enough.
Exactly. Incredible for both those shows, right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
boxing glove with thumbtacks.
Yeah. So okay. I'm managing my guy in this death match, right? And so I have these two boxing gloves with thumbtacks glued to them, like spikes out, right? And I am going rock'em sock'em with the baby face. You know, side of his head a couple times, into the forehead. And of course, my main concern is, well, I'm doing all this stuff. You know, what in the world is this guy gonna want to do to me in revenge that I need to be prepared for?
Yeah.
But thankfully, what ended up happening to me later in the match, or what it wasn't, thankfully it was not horribly violent, just horribly embarrassing. I got a massive bag of Doritos smashed over my head.
Hey, if it's gonna be between Doritos and thumbtacks, give me
you
the
know what
Doritos.
I'm saying? I mean, it's like, yeah, of course, you know, messed up my shirt and my white pants and everything, but other than that, I think I got away pretty okay.
Oh yeah, that's a win, brother. That's a win all the way.
Exactly.
Oh man,
If they hear this, he's probably like, man, he's probably like looking back,
fucked
like, what the fuck? I took thumbtack shots and my retaliation was Doritos. Receipts coming.
So much worse.
Exactly.
Hope you don't see him at a show in the future.
See me just for saying this, he's probably gonna, like, you know, I'm gonna wind up hog tied and like slowly lowered into a vat of lava or something like that.
Yeah, he's saving it for the big go home show.
Exactly. Just like lather me up in honey and stick me next to a bee's nest, right?
See, and that works on whole different levels, because that's not, you know, that hits you in the real life too.
Oh my god. Yeah. You guys ever seen
it scares you in all kinds of ways.
Have you guys seen The Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage?
Oh god, the bees, not the bees, not the bees.
Oh no, not the 2005 CGI bees.
Yep.
Classic.
Well, so you've been involved in wrestling in 12 years now. You said you've been managing for 5?
For 5, yeah.
For 5 years now. All right.
Yep.
And do you manage anywhere else besides NEW, or are you just strictly an NEW guy?
Oh, I bounce around. I'm all over the place. I've been in South Jersey for various New Jersey promotions, actually. Currently, I'm working for Invictus, Super Crazy, On Point Wrestling. The last two, they're based in South Jersey, kind of just outside of
I'm
Philly.
familiar with On Point. I was never booked on them, but I was familiar with them. They were around the same area when I was down in that area.
Yeah, no, they're on IWTV. They got a nice little following on there. Every single one of their events that I've done this year, there's been really solid social media engagement, and I kind of like the way they balance out the cards. There obviously is like that bloodthirsty Philadelphia hardcore fan base that really enjoys the promotion.
Which South Jersey's all about. The company that took over the building that we were running out of was Old Time Wrestling, is H2O. I don't know if you're familiar with H2O, but they are.
I've never worked for them, but I heard a lot about them. And I think that actually when I told people that I was working down there, they assumed that I was going to that venue. And I think it was like, it's pretty close by, but it's not that, but it's not that far away. And I know
H2O does like death matches and stuff all the time. Like they're like a CZW type promotion where they have like a lot of like straightforward wrestling matches, but then they'll also like throw in some barn burning death matches.
Yeah, exactly. It really is like, nice variety, because like the last couple events that I've worked like on that same, the last show I did for them in the first half of that card was Robert Martyr versus Davey Richards, which obviously, any wrestling purist would watch anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And then then it's like the second half of the show is when all the toys come out. So it's a lot like that. Like I think the event before that, Richard Holiday from MLW, he was on the card as well. So they really got like, good variety. I like the way they kind of mix it up.
Seems to be like kind of the trend when it comes to those like I don't want to call them hardcore promotions, I just think of them more as like alternative promotions, because
Yeah.
they do lean into like the death match type, but you do see them putting on these like also these barn burning wrestling matches between these these great wrestlers, amateur styles, whatever you want to call it, but you know what I'm talking about, like where they can just
Yeah.
go and they can work. And you're kind of seeing those mix on a lot of different cards lately. And I think for the people who enjoy a good hardcore match but don't want to just sit through 3 hours of blood and guts, like
Correct.
a guy like me, for instance, that's the perfect kind of balance, like you said.
Yeah, like I think a lot of like GCW is sort of like setting that trend a little bit for what a lot of like I think companies are trying to be, just to have both, like you mentioned, both styles.
Mm-hmm.
They're more or less the
Balance up the
modern.
bar.
They're more or less the modern ECW anyway.
Right. Exactly.
And which
so-
ECW did that too. They had, like, when you look back at it, you look at some of those matches, like it
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
all
no
this hardcore
doubt. I
stuff.
mean, come on, yeah, with Jericho,
Mhm.
Eddie,
Eddie Guerrero, and
Jerry
Jim
Lynn.
Malenko.
Mysterio,
Yeah.
Jerry Lynn, RVD, yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
right,
So- So you have your involvement, your beginnings as a manager and in the business in general. What about as a fan? What got you into wrestling?
I got into wrestling when I was kind of a late bloomer. I was like 13, 14. Basically, my dad, when he started dating my stepmom, my stepbrother was a wrestling fan. So in getting to know him, I started watching Raw every Monday, and I kind of got sucked into it a little bit. My first favorites when I started watching were Shawn Michaels and John Cena. This was around
Okay.
like 07.
Big HBK guy right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Sean was he was always my favorite.
And that
growing
was
up.
honestly the funny thing is like a lot of people, including myself, consider the later part of his career, the part where you came in, to be the better part of his career. So
Right.
Oh yeah,
I'm one of
absolutely.
them.
yep, I agree. I'm the same. I'm one of those guys too, for sure.
Yeah, because it's like coming in and at that age, it's like my first impression of Shawn Michaels. I remember was watching like one of those like WWE like rewinds or something. It was showing him and Kurt Angle from WrestleMania 21. So like that was the first big Shawn Michaels match I ever saw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
and then,
great
like,
one. That's a great one to come into, for instance.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that might be the best of his career. It's definitely up there. And then so he's working, he does Cena in the main event of WrestleMania, and then Flair and Undertaker. Like those are my main Shawn Michaels memories. And then it's like you go back and you watch him, obviously in the 90s, and like just see what a storied, layered career he had, and how he kind of transformed over the years, and then coming back after the back injury that should have ended his career, put him on the shelf for a number of years. It's incredible. His body of work is just bar none.
You're talking to the right guy with me. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, very few guys I feel like can reinvent themselves over time like that. Like the only other guy I can even think of is Chris Jericho. Really.
Jericho, exactly. Yep, that's the one that comes to mind.
He's managed to stay relative. He's managed to stay relevant since what, like 89, 90,
something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would put Undertaker in that category as well. He's another one where it's like, you think like, back half of Undertaker's career. Obviously, like, he had all this iconic stuff that he did during, his initial run in the 90s. But then I feel like back half of his career is like when you think about the Undertaker's greatest matches, a lot of the ones that would come to mind would probably be in the 2000s.
Yes.
Would you include the Concrete Crypt match against the Dudleys, where a manager?
No, we're not going to talk about that. But it's a horrible idea to do to another human being, much less a manager.
Can I ask you?
I'm just
saying. It's a damn shame that ever happened, and I hope it doesn't give anybody any ideas for the future.
Is that and
go ahead.
I'm asking you to speak on behalf of all managers here. Is that a bit of a soft spot? It seems like it hit a little close.
Only before the concrete hardened. Then it was a hard spot.
There you go. All right.
Thank you. I'm here all week.
So excuse me. I know during the later part of my career, Mike knows, I actually had a manager myself. His name's Patrick Richard Ream. I've talked about him here on the show before. He's given him his props. He was a great manager. So speaking from experience, I know how important the manager role is, and to when you have a good manager and when you have a bad manager, because I've had both. So my other manager, in case Mike Skylar, I don't know if you knew this, but I think Mike, you might have, but you might have forgotten. My other manager before Patrick Richard Ream was Alan. So yeah,
You're gonna have to elaborate
Alan,
based on Mike's reaction.
Yeah, our friend Alan, who Skylar, I don't know if you've met him, but he's
Maybe.
He's off, man. He's just an off dude. I'll leave it at that.
Our friend Alan.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine that he used to ride down with us, and then he got convinced to like manage me.
Are you the only person he ever managed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wore a wrinkled suit that he kept rolled in a plastic bag that had mustard stains on it for months because he refused to get them cleaned. And that was his outfit every week, and he managed me. But anyway, enough about that.
Big pop.
Oh,
big
the
pop.
mustard.
Onto my good manager, Patrick Richard Ream, when we started a stable known as PRR Incorporated. And
well, there you go. Right off the rip, this already sounds better.
Yep. Oh wait,
we had
a great run. We me and him together and our stable mates, we had a lot of fun with that. He was a great manager. He always knew where to be. There was times where I'd forget a spot in my match. I'd roll out of the ring and just be like, Pat, what happens next? And he goes, get ready. He's going to dive.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might want to turn around.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
and
no, that is peak use case of a manager right there.
Yeah.
When you're that extra set of eyes and ears, keep the match on track. Yep.
Which brings me to the question, like now you coming into this, you doing your thing. I'm sure you've kind of seen that good side and bad side. What are things and managers that you look for that you want to kind of aspire to do? And what are things that you want to definitely like avoid, like bad habits that you've seen from some other managers maybe?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like coming into this role, I feel like, and still to this day, I feel like I fight the uphill battle that managers are traditionally considered an unnecessary part of the show. It's just kind of an add-on. It's an excuse to give somebody a spot, or worst case scenario, they're really just glorified fans who don't really want to, who want some face time, but they don't really want to, put in the work or anything like that. And if that's the case, then they become annoying apron pounders, and they really are more of a, they don't add anything. So that's obviously something that I always want to avoid. I mean, I feel like I've so far walked the line, but trying to funnel all of the energy toward what's going on in the ring, which is not easy to do because obviously any talent out there wants to get over. The only difference being, as a manager, you need to direct your overness into what's happening in the ring. Unless the situation specifically calls for it, like obviously I've had my moments, right, where if I'm kind of like cornered by a wrestler, then the focus is squarely on me. But when a lot of what's happening outside the ring, you need to learn how to harness that and make sure that the people's energy is directed toward the match. So that's always a goal of mine, and it's something that you always have to, it's not like work till you get it right. It's work till you can't get it wrong. So that's always something that's top of mind, whenever I'm out there. Obviously in terms of influences, you got to throw, Bobby Heenan and Jim Cornette out there, just because not only did they have the, the character and the mannerisms and the promo ability down pat, but to what you were speaking to, those are two guys who, they could keep their guys on track, in the ring. They knew the matches just as well, like the back of their hand. So those are definitely, two key inspirational figures. And then Paul Heyman as well. I mean, he was probably, like, from a promo standpoint, the most direct influence on me when I started. I think that I've kind of gone in a more animated, direction than Heyman, typically is
more Paulie dangerously.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say maybe Paulie dangerously with like an extra bump.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say, yeah. I would say that I almost, but it's funny though, because kind of if I go back and watch my promos from 2007 when I first started, and also when the suits were a little less glitzy, I feel like I was a little bit more like modern day Heyman and Brock Lesnar, and then kind of and then after a while, the more the personality started to come out.
Mm. Well, those are definitely obviously very good guys to be inspired by. I was always promo wise myself. I was always kind of inspired by Paul Heyman, just from a promo standpoint. I always tried to, like, I never take anything from him, but like just try to like carry that kind of attitude when I would cut my promos. Just carry that confidence that he has.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then of course being sorry to cut you off.
No,
just
go
being
ahead.
obviously assuming mostly being a heel manager.
Yeah.
You provoke, and then eventually the people want to see you get your comeuppance.
Exactly.
So just
comeuppance.
That's what it is.
Yeah, just that's not a word I hear very often.
Comeuppance. So one, and just quickly, just like if you do quick research search of you, I mean, the main thing I think that popped up from you was you getting your ass kicked by the Hardy family office.
Yeah.
So
that was all the time.
Go into that, because how many people, I mean, I guess the list is up there, but how many people can say, hey, yeah, I took the twist of fate. I got my ass kicked by Matt Hardy. What was the match? Because you kind of find a lot of times you find that stuff with no context. I mean, I know it was last year when Hardy Family Office was still just Matt Hardy and Private Party.
Right.
So I guess what was the match? What was the scenario? I guess take us through.
Yeah, well, the one you're referring to, we actually ended up having two matches against them. The first one was at Six Flags Great Adventure at last year's Six Flags Slam Fest. And it's funny we're talking about it because we just had this year's event this past Saturday. But yeah, I mean, that match being put together, it was really awesome on an event like that, to be, to have my guys going up against them, just because on these major shows, sometimes, to go for like, if you're thinking like, highest, name value possible of some of these matchups, like in that venue in the past, it was John Moxley versus Big Kaz XL, right? Two recognizable names from TV. People are like, oh wow, this is happening, right here at Six Flags, right? And then so for us, as obviously, kind of the core guys of NEW going up against this featured faction on AEW, and then on top of that, you add the fact that they had the money shtick that they were playing up, and obviously that's our thing too. So it really felt like one of those, I would say, kind of like a in a way like dream match scenario when it's like you have these like two like clashing forces, the rich versus the rich. So I was really excited for it, and then I was even more excited when I found out that we were the main event that day. I mean, I knew it was already a huge match for us, no matter where we were on the card. But then to go on last again, and like knowing that it was going to be one of Northeast Wrestling's highest attended, if not the most highest attended event of the year, it was really exciting, and the crowd energy was really right where we wanted it to be. I was getting goosebumps out there, and just knowing that it's like that it was kind of like my brainchild, my thing from that I started, in 2017, and how it's manifested to this point where I'm like leading my guys in a battle against Matt Hardy and his faction that's featured on like national TV as this match is happening. It was pretty surreal. It definitely was one of the my most favorite moments of my entire career. And it definitely, it was that finisher barrage right at the end there when I take the twist of fate, followed by the swanton, followed by the shooting star press, all in a row. And like, that was the lasting image of, painful as it was. That's the lasting image, the last thing that those people saw that day. I was like, well, much as this hurts, I don't think there's any bigger way to end this show.
Hey, fans go home happy, right? That sounds like it sounds like a hell of a way to finish a show, man.
Hey, it sure did, and we left the door open for a rematch that occurred in Danbury just a couple months after that. So now and it's like, without going into as great detail, because obviously that was like, just same deal, main event, Danbury. But now it's like when that's coming together, I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. This is not just a one-time thing. We're in a legitimate, this is a rivalry now. This is a multi-match series. We're cutting promos on each other back and forth on social media. It's like, they are our public enemies number one.
You got a feud going, brother.
Exactly.
It's good stuff. What's better than a good wrestling feud? Not enough good wrestling feuds nowadays.
Completely. Yeah. They don't do them like they used to.
Nah, everyone's over. Like, they're all done in like 3 matches, and you don't really get a good feud going. You need like, when's the last time we've had like a real Rock Austin situation?
Well, the nice thing about those guys, though, is it was kind of spread apart if you think about it.
Yeah. No, it's
Rock
absolutely
Cena, year build. I don't know.
It's true. I mean, yeah, Cena Orton, that was obviously a big feud for
I will say that is probably kind of point out the obvious, but that Rock and Stone Cold Mania 17 might be my favorite match build of all time, favorite pre-match vignette video package ever made.
Obviously one of the best WrestleManias, I feel like, up there.
Yeah,
like
the best. Number one, I think.
I think it's number one.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to think of
19, I would say, is possibly number 2.
Yeah.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar right alone was. Wait, and also wasn't that HBK and Kurt Angle
Jericho.
too? Oh,
HBK
that was
Jericho.
Jericho, which was also a fantastic match.
Kurt Angle wrestling Shawn Michaels and Brock Lesnar the same night.
Yeah, I brain fart.
With a broken freaking neck.
Neck.
There you go.
So obviously you've been mostly manager, but just again, quickly doing research, you've had a couple of matches.
I have another one coming up in a couple weeks.
Oh man. Any shot we make the switch to full-time wrestler ever?
No.
Is that in the
no, absolutely not.
That was a quick and a hard no.
Emphatic.
That was a quick and a hard no.
So
I like here and there, make it special.
Well, you know what? That's what makes you a draw, brother.
Yeah,
that's it.
They want to see. We've said already. They want to see you get your ass kicked more than likely.
They really do.
And
so you know what? And that's why we didn't. That's why I didn't give it to them. That's why I stayed on my feet. Well, mostly in that tag team match I had a couple of weeks ago, but I won. That's the important part.
Hey, a win's a win.
That's all. Yeah. It seems in the past it's been usually losses. So
that seems hurtful that you had to bring that up.
Listen, you got to look at the stats.
Hard hitting Mike Kane here.
Yeah. Jeez. Reopening old wounds. Yes, I did secure my first ever professional wrestling victory 2 weeks ago, Northeast Wrestling in Bethany, Connecticut. When myself and Karen Bam Bam defeated Nikki Duke and Little Mean Kathleen, I got the pinfall on LMK, and that brings my official in-ring wrestling record to 1-3.
Okay.
Yep. Hey, congrats on the first win. Now you're on a roll now.
I hate to bring up the negative now.
That's it. I'm on a winning. I am on a winning streak.
As of right now, you're on a streak. A streak starts with 1, baby.
You gotta keep it going.
Exactly.
Can we talk about the first? Can we talk about the first loss?
Who was that to, Mike?
It would appear, if these websites are accurate, that it was against a certain anonymous Raw general manager.
It was.
He's not the anonymous Raw general manager.
I still don't believe that.
I don't believe it.
Then who is it?
I still think it's Mike Adamle.
I was gonna say I was the victim of an Adamle original. No, it was against we're talking about, man, the conversation just keeps tracing back to Six Flags because that's where it occurred. It was, yes, myself versus Hornswoggle, and we're talking about manager debuts. This is my in-ring debut, right? It is me with Wrecking Ball Legursky in my corner because we were friends back then, against Swoggle, who also had someone in his corner. He had Mick Foley in his corner. So this is the showdown.
Foley is good.
Foley is good.
Sorry, anytime
Mick
I hear
Foley's-
about Foley, I just gotta say that.
Mick Foley is like the ghost that keeps haunting me at Northeast Wrestling, because this guy is he has found me with the mandible claw on more occasions that I can count, and I didn't get it. I didn't get it this time. No, instead he unleashed Swoggle on me.
Does he hit you with the sock every time?
Not that time, but other times he did. I've been the unfortunate victim of.
All right.
the man.
Well, I gotta ask. This is the first time I've talked to somebody with firsthand knowledge.
Mm.
How does Mr. Sacco taste?
He's got an iron grip, let me tell you. Leave the inside of your lips swollen.
Ugh. Mandible claw always looked very painful to me.
It's no joke, man.
No,
He
it's not.
latches on.
Yep. Hey, I saw that move when no joke, when I was a kid, when Mankind first debuted, and he was literally just using the mandible claw and just paralyzing his opponents. I was scared to death of that man. And then he beat the Undertaker. And then I was like, oh no.
It's happening. It's happening.
Well, because like
I was like, as a child, I was legitimately scared of the original Mankind character. He scared the shit out of me.
Well, the original
did, right?
Mankind character was scary.
yeah, he
It
did
was
a
genius.
job.
Yeah.
I love the original Mankind, for the record.
Yeah,
by the
me
way.
too.
But as a kid, he scared the shit out of me.
Sure. It wouldn't be.
Yep.
And
And that mandible claw was a big part of it, man. I would see like our opponents would literally just freeze up when he had it locked on. And like, I was just like,
Mhm.
that's the scariest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
and I don't doubt that Mr. Sacco's just legit down his pants for however many hours in the day.
Right in the waistband, right in the sweaty waistband.
I didn't ask. I don't think I want to know.
It's probably a good strategy.
Oh man. So yeah,
Is that
so
a
you're-
Mr. Sacco in your pants, or are you just happy to see me?
Easy. This is not trust fund after dark.
Oh,
Gotta wait till midnight.
although that does sound like a
Hey, we're
show
getting
I'd
close.
watch.
So you're in how does the match with Hornswoggle even just like, I guess what's the backstory of that? Just again,
Well-
without of context, you just see Hornswoggle wait, what?
Yeah, so basically the way it came together was that Wrecking Ball was doing a gauntlet to prove that he is the great destroyer of all things in tights besides him. So he beats Dexter Lou, he beats American Sumo Mike Gamble, and then Mick Foley comes out like it's like, oh my God, is Mick Foley the third guy? Is he gonna be like,
Is
you know,
he
the next
the third man?
the third man? There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it walked right into that one. So yeah, thinking like, oh my God, is he going to be the one to challenge Wrecking Ball next? And instead, he takes out the mic. We go back and forth and the ring on the mic for a little bit, and he's like, no. He's like, Jared, you are going to have a match. You know, so the gauntlet ends with me versus Hornswoggle, with like Mick kind of just going into commissioner mode again. And so yeah, it was a total on the fly thing. Wasn't advertised. Didn't know it was going to happen until that day at Six Flags. And yeah, I went pretty sky high when Hornswoggle gave me a stunner. That was probably the highlight.
Nice.
But yeah, it was fun. I mean, and also I kind of was doing the whole because it was like an impromptu deal. I decided that I was going to do the whole Tetsuya Naito thing that he used to do over. I don't know if you guys watched him in New Japan, but when he would like, you know, take off the suit.
I'm the New Japan guy here.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
Skyler
yeah.
for sure,
I know.
yeah.
I knew this guy would know. This guy probably.
I knew this guy would know.
This guy knows all of his matches. Yeah, yeah. So Naito,
I have a New
you know,
Japan World subscription, and
there you go, man. There's a lot
kinda
of great
wonder why.
content on there. Who wouldn't have one? No,
I thought about it for a while. I just never got around to it.
yeah, they're terrific.
And now I feel like all the guys that I wanted to watch in New Japan are in AEW anyway. so.
What's kind of funny is it's 999 yen a month, but
Which
that
breaks
comes
down
out to
what-
like it comes out to like $7.80.
Yeah.
there it is.
Stuck on that, Vince. Oh wait, you're already having problems. Never mind.
Oof. But yeah. So
Back to what we were talking about. The
yeah.
Naito thing.
Yeah, the Naito thing was the very slow disrobing of the suit. So yeah, took my time. Yeah, like taking the jacket off, unbuttoning the shirt, slowly, stretching it. So that was fun, riling up the crowd a little bit. Like, Swoggle was playing off of it. So I was really happy with the way the whole thing came out, other than me losing in 3 minutes. But yeah, I mean,
go with the bad.
yeah, it was definitely another thrown into the fire moment. I had my moment in the sun, quite literally, for a couple minutes there, getting the upper hand, and then of course all hell breaks loose. Wrecking Ball gets in the ring. Mick Foley ends up giving him the mandible claw. Swoggle finished me off with a spear. So it was definitely one to remember. Again, came out on the losing end, but yeah, it was definitely an experience I won't forget.
It seems pretty nuts for someone that just got thrown into managing. Within a year, you have this involvement with, Mick Foley, you're wrestling Hornswoggle.
Yeah,
you're in
absolutely.
there. It's
Party
pretty.
family
It's
office.
Yeah, right. A couple years after that. And then I know, again, I hate to keep bringing up losses, but, the losing streak continued. You lost to Flip Gordon later on in the year.
Oof. I think that's worse than Hornswoggle.
Oof, it was.
That's offensive to Flip Gordon.
Now this one I would have won if it wasn't for the NEW promoter, Mike Lombardi. That's the only reason I lost that match, because he was
hold on, pause for a second. You are literally the first guest who's talking bad about Mike Lombardi. Everybody loves Mike Lombardi. What are you talking about? You're the first one to say something bad about this man.
Well, I didn't
He's a heel manager. What do you want?
He made himself the referee for my match, and then he attacked me in the middle of it.
Oh my gosh. That doesn't sound like the Michael Lombardi I've heard about.
Yeah, exactly. I thought this was an upstanding guy, and instead he flips me over his shoulder with a judo throw, and next thing you know, he hits the Dusty Rhodes flip, flop, and fly elbow combo on me. Like, what's going on here? Is this a handicap match or something?
I mean, that referee didn't try to fuck on you.
He literally fucked.
He did.
Right then and there. Exactly. Complete. Yeah, the Bethany screw job in the flesh.
Oh
man.
Yeah, my
that's
chest
that's the first bad review we've gotten on Mike Lombardi.
Well, there you go. Well deserved. Special guest referee. Where was my special guest? I didn't have a special guest. No, I was with Wrecking Ball at the time. He couldn't even be at ringside. Michael can be the referee, apparently, because that's fair.
Well,
Ridiculous.
You know what they say: when you're the booker, you can do whatever you want. So
I don't respect you, Booker man.
All right, you beat me to it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I was trying to set that up. So yeah,
one step ahead of you, kid.
It's either that or you say it's not going to work for me, brother. that's the other bit.
Oh my gosh, I pride myself on not calling anyone brother, like, ever.
All right.
I have a question.
That is one of the ultimate cringe. Oh my man. It's like, it's one of those like giveaways where it's like, when people try to sound smart, it's like if anybody ever refers to WWE as the E, it's like, oh my God, just no, walk away and bury your head in the ground for at least 12 hours.
Quick question.
Go ahead.
You think Hogan calls a woman brother?
Oh man. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Never met the fella.
As a guy who's pretty much a bro and just says bro and brother all the time, that's okay.
There you go. No, bro. No, listen,
and
bro
Jack,
is.
And Jack,
I know.
Dude.
I'm kidding.
Listen, bro is okay, because bro is something that normal people say all the time. Brother is a made up wrestling thing that nobody actually like.
I don't know. The locker rooms I was in, there was a lot of brother in there.
Oh my goodness, yeah. But I don't know. To each their own. Maybe it's becoming outdated. I hope it dies off with the dinosaurs. That's my personal take on it.
I think it is. I think that is more of like an 80s and 90s thing that kind of like that's just kind of like dying out.
Because most of the time it's not really endearing. It's like fake endearing. I don't know. That's just kind of my experience with it.
Yeah. Like you mean like that's not gonna work for me, brother? Like like something like that. yeah. It's usually like in that kind of context. Yes.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I think you're right though. I think it is something.
Oh, hey, fourth wall. Where'd you go?
It's back. No.
All right.
So is there anyone else? I mean, over the 5 years, I know we brought up the Hardy family office, we brought up Mick Foley, Teddy
Yep.
Long, Jake Roberts. Anyone else that you've had direct involvement with, whether it be inside the ring or outside of the ring, that you want to share with us? Just
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we got to so talk about programs and rivalries. When I was managing the one-man thrill ride in 2019, we had basically a summer-long rivalry with Enzo and Cass. Yeah, so Jimmy wrestled Big Cass, Cass XL, W Morrissey, multiple times. I want to say it was probably like 4 or 5 times over the course of the summer. And it was crazy because, the first time this was, again, it always traces back to Six Flags. The first time that we ever met these guys was, so Thrill Ride wrestled Cass at Six Flags Great Adventure in 2019. And, he kind of like bulldozed through us. I ended up getting choke slammed. It was one of the many choke slams that I received from Mr. 7 foot tall that summer. It seemed to happen in every single match. He kind of, ran through us in about like, a minute or two. And we kind of thought like, oh, well, that was all right. Well, that's a story. And next thing you know, basically they ended up wrestling each other on just about, we're doing this whole summer tour. We're going to all these different places. We're going to West Virginia. We're going to Poughkeepsie, New York, Mid-Hudson Civic Center. We go to Norwich, Connecticut. We go to Scranton, Pennsylvania. And in every single town, the match is Thrill Ride versus Cass, including one of them was the Norwich event. We actually were the main event that night. So that was pretty exciting. I mean, it was really like, comfortable going in just because we kind of knew the drill with these guys. But at the same time, this was another match that was kind of rearranged on the fly because this card kind of changed. The show was advertised for months with the main event being Big Cass versus John Moxley. And Moxley was, I think.
Uh-oh.
When was this? This was 2019.
Hold on, Jared.
The G1 climax around that.
Jared, hold on. You cut out. You cut out again a little bit.
Oh, my bad. I kind of got a feeling I got lost for a second.
Yeah.
All right, where did we leave off?
John Moxley,
Yep.
and
yeah.
Kaz XL.
Okay. Yeah, so it's supposed to be Kaz XL, John Moxley at this Norwich Wrestling Under the Stars event. And again, so, as thrilled as I am for this, main event match, understanding that you've got people in the crowd that may have bought tickets expecting to see that match take place. John Moxley, not Thrill Ride and myself. So it's kind of like, all right, well, it's time to put up or shut up because we got to, now I'm feeling like a little bit of, we're feeling a little bit of pressure to just be like, hey, we got to make sure that, everybody gets their money's worth here. And the fact that, the people were as engaged as they were. And I feel like, we came out, we really got into their skin, gave them some real villains to root against. And, it might've been my favorite of all of the matches between Cass and Thrill Ride. And it will always stand out to me as just kind of being the, hey, some people, you could almost even get the vibe out there that like they weren't quite expecting this when we first came out, but by the end of it, everybody's on their feet, everybody was really happy. So I felt like, we really did our jobs. And I think it was the closest that Jimmy came to beating Cass that summer. So it was a blast. It was a lot of fun and getting to know those guys because and Enzo and myself, we even patched up our differences to the point that we even went to a Yankees game together last year.
Oh man, look at that.
And it feels like a natural like connection in the ring where if you have just, especially on the mic, I know the matches, I'm sure the matches were great, but just that alone, if you get the heels in there to rile the crowd up, and then who else, especially at that point for those couple of years, I don't think anyone was hotter than Enzo and Cass coming out just on the mic. So it makes for this perfect match. So it's understandable that you guys would mesh like that, and to have a program for an entire summer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The chemistry was totally there. And I got to say, in terms of, we were talking earlier in the show about, the managers who know the matches like the back of their hands. I mean, these were matches that I was very, very heavily involved in. It worked though. It never felt like too much. It never felt like, oh, I can't enjoy this match because Jared is getting involved so much. It was all like, it was all kind of, woven together in a really, easy to digest kind of way. But these were definitely matches where I felt like very, very like, all right, I feel like, me and, Jimmy Thrill Ride, like we got this, we really got this. So didn't go our way nearly every single time, but the game plan was always in place.
That's good, Doug, and you get that chemistry going. And when you do have good chemistry with an opponent, and obviously when you're a manager with your client, when all three of you can kind of mesh together and put on good matches, and really knows what works, knows what doesn't, like the benefits of having a feud like that really get to shine, because you get to come out and you get to really know your role and put on, hopefully better and better matches throughout the program. So
absolutely,
definitely an asset for sure.
Yep.
I know you mentioned it before the show, so I do want to ask you. You said you might have a Ric Flair story for us.
A Ric Flair story. Oh man. Whew. Well,
no pressure to beat the
well,
doozy of a story we had.
All right.
From Kevin Quinn.
I'm not going to say where it was. I'm not going to say who the other party involved was, but all I'm going to say is that Ric Flair was ready to depart from a venue, and basically his bag was left in a
wait, pause. We already heard this story from the other person who was involved in this.
No, really? All right, I don't feel so bad now. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
feels like we're getting the other end of it now.
We really are. This is like literally like, oh, this is like third party perspective here.
So continue.
Oh my gosh, that's
so
incredible.
continue.
Yeah,
No, give us your perspective on this, because we have heard this story before, so it's funny.
For people who haven't heard this story before, so Ric Flair has done the opening promo segment and is ready to go home, go to his hotel, get on with his evening. He says his goodbyes, and then it all of a sudden goes, wait, where's my bag? Where's my suitcase? And then all of a sudden it's, oh my God. One of the, so it was a younger up and coming wrestler at that time. I won't say who, but he basically had taken one of the rental cars for someone else at that time. So he wasn't there, and unknowingly drove off with Ric Flair's bag in the trunk. So Ric Flair is not happy whatsoever. One of our other guys gets the younger wrestler on the phone and is like, hey, you got to come back here. Ric Flair's bag is in your back seat. And Rick is growing increasingly impatient. He says, give me the phone. Cuts a 100% promo on this kid. Goes, listen up. This is Ric Flair, MFer. You get your effing ass back here right now. I mean, this guy, it was just like you would picture seeing him on TV. The face is swelling up red. He's like taking off the jacket. I thought he was going to elbow drop
if he's
it.
taking, I was about to ask if he's going to do that.
And then the kid comes back, and Flair, the staff member was in between the two, so that there wasn't a physical altercation in the parking lot. But he did get the bag, went on with the evening about 30 minutes later than he would have liked to.
Oh man.
It was one of those, like, it's coming out of my television screen. Like, am I really seeing this unfold in real time?
That's
Okay,
crazy.
so now
man.
we got to get Ric Flair on the show to give the other perspective.
Yeah, we have two perspectives now.
have-
We got to get Ric Flair's perspective, right?
Who
That's
told
not-
the story first? That's amazing. Who told it first?
So what
it's
was
Chris, right?
No,
No?
Kevin.
Oh
Chris
no,
wasn't-
That was
no, it was Kevin. Yeah, that's
It
right.
was
yeah, it had to
Kevin.
be
I'm
Kevin. Yeah,
sorry.
because Chris wasn't there at the time.
No,
Right.
no, it was Kevin because Kevin was the one that was driving him. So he was the one that knew about the bag in the car.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Yes,
Yes.
Kevin was the one driving him, but Kevin was not the person who drove off with the bag.
No,
Yeah.
but he was
Right.
driving
No.
Ric Flair beforehand, so
Right.
he knew that the bag was in the car. So when the car was missing,
Yes.
Kevin was like, "This isn't good."
No,
For-
it's not.
For that whole story and much, much more, episode 19 with Kevin Quinn in the
Yep.
archives.
Yep.
That's
Oh,
right.
man, that's
Episode
great.
19. Kevin Quinn, brother.
That is a good Kevin Quinn impression right there. I like it.
Well,
Oh man.
he is my dad, so
You know
No,
what?
no,
I see the
no,
resemblance
not-
now that
not
you
really.
mentioned it. No, it all makes sense now.
yeah, right.
Let's say that dude was a treasure trove of stories.
Yeah.
Quinn. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no. Hey man, when you're a referee, you could find yourself, with being with just about anybody at any given time. So referees, they don't get to act at all, out in the ring. So they gotta, they are observing, and they become like little moving, breathing encyclopedias.
I was gonna say they're almost like the documentary in a way of like wrestling itself. Like they're just like the living documentary because like they're just there for
Yep.
everything.
Does
Yep.
that mean I have to become a ref?
I mean, it's the next logical step.
I would totally do it. I would
Listen,
You
totally
probably
do it.
could. You
Listen,
probably
we've
be a good
we've
ref.
interviewed enough referees at this point. We know enough. You got the into at least.
We're
Give
the
it a- give
I
it
mean,
a
at this point, we're
training.
the unofficial podcast of NEW.
We're the
Right.
official, we're the unofficial podcast of not only NEW, but I think like referees in general as well.
This is
Like,
true.
we've had a lot of refs on the
Mm.
show, but you know what? Everybody that we've had on the show, you included here, Jared, they've all had unique stories. They've all had different stories, and even when we hear the same story like we did today, we got a whole new perspective on it. So
Right.
that's fun too. And it's just
Wow, I got to dig up this episode just to hear how Quinn told it.
yeah.
think it was like
Check it
2
out.
weeks
It's on there. It's on Spotify
It's
and
what, like 2
and
weeks
ago?
iTunes and all that. So yeah, it was like 2
Like,
weeks
comment,
ago, yeah.
subscribe.
Yes.
Like, comment, subscribe. Yes.
That's it. Awesome.
So I just had something I wanted to say about just the manager role in general and get your opinion on this. But I think that you as a manager are actually coming into it in a good time wrestling wise. I feel like a lot of the 2000s, the manager role was pretty much dead.
Mhm.
I think it was pretty much left. If there was a manager role, it was usually left to like some hot diva that was supposed to be some valet that was really just a piece of eye candy. And as you said before, it's usually just a mindless mat pounder, basically. Now I feel like we're getting into an era where we're starting to see the wrestling manager come back. You're seeing it with guys like Smart Mark Sterling.
Yep.
With Malcolm, I know his name in NXT was Malcolm Bivens and
Stokely Hathaway.
Stokely,
Stokely
yep.
Hathaway.
Yep.
I'm sorry,
Yep.
I'm still getting used to the return to the old gimmick here.
I was gonna say
but yeah.
Guido over on the other side of the ocean,
Yeah, and then
also the booker, but
yeah, and then Paul Heyman has obviously had the career he's had. He seemed to be like the only manager that kind of survived, but even he had gaps in the 2000s where he just wasn't really active. Now I feel like we are entering a role where we are seeing more actual wrestling managers. So I think it's kind of a good time for you to kind of not only develop that as you are right now, but I think it's a good opportunity for managers as a whole. So I just wanted to get your thoughts about where you think the manager role is going to be in the future of pro wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think that people are really kind of understanding, the value that a good manager can bring to a wrestling event, to storylines, to television, to live events, all those things. Just because it's so much more complicated. There's so many more things that you can do with them. You can't just say like, managers are there for one job or one job only, which is like, just to be the mouthpiece for somebody. I mean, yeah, there are instances where obviously, that's the natural need for a manager is, oh, we have a guy that we really, want to do something with. He's not the best talker. You can be with him, you can do his promos for him. And there are definitely certain wrestlers who do like, working with a manager because they think that it lightens, their workload in the promo room, which that is definitely a major component of it. Because if you're a manager, you gotta be a good promo. Because I take like you have to be a great promo. You have to be a better promo than most wrestlers. Because if you're not, then why are you there? You gotta over justify yourself on the mic. On top of that, just from it's not necessarily as one dimensional as, oh, the managers are there for the guys that can't talk. Not necessarily like that, because from a storytelling standpoint, a storyline standpoint, there are, both in terms of, your episodic as well as your vacuum, match storytelling, managers can absolutely add to the story being told in the ring. And even in promos, if you get a guy who can talk really well, it's somebody for both of you to play off of. Or, what I like is, I feel like I've gotten to a point in Northeast wrestling where, just somebody's association with me instantly creates the crowd connection of like, oh, that guy's with Jared. He's a trust fund guy. All of a sudden there's that extra hook to like draw somebody in, like, hey, pay attention to this guy. And I think that, beyond myself, I think you can say that for anybody, is like when you see like a wrestler come out there with a manager, now they go from being just a wrestler to, oh, this is a total package. This is a whole act that we're selling here. It's not just like, generic wrestler B in tights. It's like, okay, this guy's got a character direction. He has a backstory. He has other people that he associates with. There's a whole lot of storytelling that we can do right now.
It's all great points. And I think you're right there. You're hitting the nail on the head yourself here when you mention all that, because I think that's exactly what a manager needs to be. Especially in today's role, because you need obviously somebody who can kind of do it all. You can't just have a mouthpiece for the guys who can't speak. I know personally I was a good promo. It was pretty much the only thing I was good at. I didn't have a great body. My ring work was okay. I was like, I was dependable, but I wasn't anything special.
You had a damn good boss man slam.
Yeah, I did have a good boss man slam. But the best part of my act was my promo. And the fact that I had a manager at first, I mentioned on the show, like it kind of bothered me. I was like, why do I need a manager? I can talk. But once I got to work with them and we got to hang out and know each other, we got so comfortable with each other that we would just, we'd be able to work off of each other. And it was great because you have two guys now in the ring or on camera that can work a mic, who are now just bouncing off of each other and just kind of going back and forth and playing. And it just makes it so much more fun to have somebody reliable like that you can do that with, as somebody who isn't a problem on the mic, somebody who can talk. It's good to have somebody you can just volley with.
I mean, I would say for me, the person who really did that for me was when I was managing One Man Thrill Ride, because I was coming off of, he was the second guy that I worked, well, the second main guy that I worked with, because originally I was managing Wrecking Ball, and then Brian Malonis was also affiliated with us for a time. But with the two of them, it was kind of the basically the natural disasters, kind of dynamic. It's, it was a very 1980s presentation with both of them. I'm Cornette or Jimmy Hart, what have you, with, my big monsters and everything like that. So it's that classic kind of dynamic. But then, and obviously, and, with both of them, they might come in and just say like, one line or two in the promos, but I'm doing most of the talking. Then I start managing Thrill Ride, who's not only can talk, but is, I think, best promo guy on the independents, like an absolute, just never ending, freaking waterfall of charisma. And to the point where it's like, I think that working with him really kind of inspired me to want to elevate my game, because it's like, I better be on point, because this guy does not need anyone to talk for him. However, the two of us together had a good dynamic. We
Mhm.
played off of each other very well. There was a lot of chemistry there, and and it was working. It never felt like, two guys that were like, fighting each other, when the camera went on for the promos or anything like that.
Right.
It's a good dynamic to have for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Any I mean, it's been 5 years now managing. Any chances to take the next step, or are you like kind of happy in NEW? What are we looking for in the future?
Oh, I'm eyeing it, man. Hey, I'm out there. Have trust fund, will travel. That's my MO. I mean,
Trust fund will travel.
yeah, man.
Tony, you listening?
Seriously, no. Any place
Hey.
that'll have me. I am absolutely
Connecticut, Florida, whoever wants him first.
Wherever.
huh?
I'm trying to take this thing as far as it can go. So far, I made my home in NEW. Had a lot of really great memories over there. Had a couple cracks with Ring of Honor back in 2019. Got a little bit of FaceTime over there. My goal is definitely television. Absolutely is television. That's where I want to see this thing go. I'm 28. I feel great. I feel like this thing's rocking and rolling. So let's try to take this thing as far as we can take it.
Okay, awesome. That's all good stuff,
Yeah.
man. And you know what? And it's good. It's good that you know where you want to go, and you're doing what you can to make it happen. I wish you the best of luck, man.
Yeah, man. And it feels like you're on the rise. You got to come back and see us when you're on top and not forget about us.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't forget about the little guys when you're up there.
Of course.
When you're the one managing Brock Lesnar in the future.
That's it.
Take over for Paul Heyman now that
Yeah.
he's a tribal guy.
Watch out, Paul. The knife in the back is coming.
Oh, I like it, man. I like it. I do.
It's a metaphorical, not an actual threat. FBI, if you're listening, I wasn't actually threatening this man.
You got to be careful nowadays. You never know. Like Paul Heyman's gonna get stabbed in the back tomorrow. And the first thing that
you said it,
that's
not
gonna
me.
pop up is
I
this podcast.
I got a question for you.
Oh yeah.
A question? Go ahead.
If you could pick anyone, who would you manage?
Dream client.
Dream clients. Yeah, we never hear enough about that.
Dream client. John Cena. Turn to the dark side.
Oh,
Yeah, I like it.
Ooh, that's a challenge.
Always wanted to see it.
And
Yeah.
right about the time that you got into pro wrestling was
There
when
you go.
everybody wanted that. So
Exactly.
why not 15 years later? Let's do it.
Just imagine John Cena comes back with an evil mustache. The man who's never had facial hair. That's how you know.
That's
Yes,
how you
yes.
know he's bad. That's how you
Yes,
know he's the bad
He has
guy.
to grow.
I'm
He has to
I'm
grow the
still-
Cartman goatee.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm still disappointed that he didn't show up in the Royal Rumble this year as Peacemaker.
Mm.
That would have been
That would've been a good one.
Epic.
It was. Yeah.
I still have to watch that.
I'm
I-
surprised.
I
I'm
need to see the
surprised
show,
they
yeah.
didn't. I'm
Peacemaker's
surprised they
great.
didn't. They right. It was like perfect timing. I'm surprised they didn't do that.
Yeah, especially since you know how much WWE loves teaming up with movies and shit like that. You know,
Right. They
did-
literally had a whole,
literally
like-
did a WrestleMania about Jackass,
Well,
And it was great.
and it was great. It was the best card. It was the best match on the card.
You can hear our thoughts on WrestleMania 38 in the archives. Six Man Tag Podcast.
Hey,
Make sure you
Michael Caine.
like, comment, subscribe.
So, Mr. Caine.
Yes.
You know, VSK.
Familiar with him, but
You
don't.
look exactly like him.
It is not. I am not him.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
yeah. Are you
Is,
sure?
is,
I
is
am-
that your final answer? Who
Yes, I
wants
have
to be
never-
a millionaire?
I have never taken a
You
bump
guys
in my
do.
life.
I am.
we just find out Mike's been swerving us this whole time. He's like,
Exactly.
For
I'm
years,
telling
apparently.
you, you
He
look a
worked
lot like you look-
everyone.
he's on
Worked
NWA.
everyone.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, brother, if you're listening. Oh, I said brother. Wow, what a loser.
Oh, what a loser.
You said it in context, though.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
you
true.
did.
now
This
now
is
this
true.
show's gonna be all anti-brother because Jared just
I
went off on all
award
the
you
brothers.
no points. May God have mercy on your soul.
Everyone is now dumber.
Exactly. I'm dumber. I feel a lot dumber.
That's usually what happens when you come on our show, I guess.
Mhm.
This is true.
Dumb and Dumber. That's right.
Yeah, buddy. But we have a good time doing it.
For sure.
The most
And we
annoying
look
sound in the
good
world.
doing it too, boys.
Oh man. Listen, a lot of NEW stuff coming up. I know. I
course.
believe. I mean, we'll be headed. It seems like we'll be headed to the Mid-Hudson Civic Center or whatever they call that building now. Don't ask me what it is. I don't know.
It's the
Mid-Hudson Civic Center.
It's the Mid-Hudson Civic
will
Center,
all-
just like it's
It's
the Tappan
Mid-Hudson-
Zee Bridge.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes,
was
yes.
literally about to say that.
Yes.
It is the Tappan Zee Bridge.
It will always be the Tappan Zee.
Yeah.
Always,
Yep.
always.
I know that. I mean, I know there's a lot of shows coming up, but I know that's the next big one
Yep.
for you
That is
guys.
definitely that's a major one. Week before that in Bethany, Connecticut, I'm going one-on-one with little Nikki herself, Nikki Duke.
Ooh, bringing back the. Well, I should
It's
say
funny,
bringing
actually,
back the
'cause-
intergender wrestling.
Yeah,
have
we're
that- I have
bringing
that
it back.
flyer on my screen right now. I was looking up, some stuff on you here earlier, and I'm looking it
yeah.
up, and I'm seeing the flyer here: Nikki Duke versus Jared Silberkleit, and I was just
I am-
like,
I'm going to get my second win in a row over Nikki Duke, and then I'm going to demand that Northeast Wrestling create a women's championship belt and present it to me, because
That's
I will be undefeated in the women's division after July 16th.
I believe it.
Do you
I have
consider
all the faith in
yourself
you.
more of a Andy Kaufman or a Harvey
Yeah, I would-
Whippleman?
I consider myself the champion, the undisputed master of women's wrestling in
So Andy
Northeast
Kaufman.
Wrestling.
Andy Kaufman.
Exactly.
So Andy Kaufman.
Exactly.
well,
Yes.
Watch out. Well, I hope your neck survives this whole thing.
My
Yeah,
Yeah,
neck.
hopefully Jerry Lawler doesn't show up. Apparently, he's got a big thorn in his side when it comes to dudes beating up on women. in the
Listen,
ring.
we all know, everybody hosting this podcast, listening to this podcast, what chance does Nikki Duke really stand against a strong, athletic man like me? None. It is
Is
biologically.
it appropriate to start singing "No Chance in Hell"?
Listen, it is biologically impossible for her to win this match.
Well,
These are all valid points.
these I can't.
And I've
argue.
already
Can't
beat
disagree.
her. I've already beat her once.
Oh, you got the upper hand.
Exactly.
Listen,
So you got
Undertaker Mania streak. Watch out. There's a new streak coming.
I like it.
That's right. It's already here.
Hey, every streak starts with one. We already talked about that.
Exactly.
You're on your way, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Brother,
as I said,
You're on your way, brother.
Ah,
Oh man, I'm
Damn
gonna
it,
hang
CJ.
up. You're gonna make me hang up.
so yeah, a lot of good shows coming up. July 16th, Bethany, Connecticut. July 23rd, Mid-Hudson Civic Center, as we mentioned. Twisted Fate show. July 30th, Wrestling Under the Stars, Niles, Ohio.
Niles, Ohio. The next day, Superstar Showdown in just outside Pittsburgh, Belle Vernon, Ross Draver Ice
was gonna say,
Garden. Yep.
I would say Pennsylvania. It could be a 2-hour drive. It could be 7. You said Pittsburgh. That's about 5.
Yeah,
from
it's
here.
it's close. Yeah, it's closer to a lot closer to Niles, Ohio than it is Bethany.
I was going to say it
Connecticut.
would make
yeah.
sense for it to be closer to Ohio
yeah. Oh, the
than
next
Yeah,
so,
no, that is the far end of Pennsylvania. It's
Yep.
it's quite the trek.
There is a meet and greet at the American Dream Mall in East Rutherford, New Jersey on July 24th. I really wish, I remember we were just talking to some of the guys we were hearing rumblings. There might be a show there, but it looks like it's just a meet and greet, which I'm a little bummed about. I really wish there was a show there. You could have had first Monday Night Nitro vibes going, but it is a meet and greet down there. But no, man, big stuff coming up in NEW.
That's right.
Exciting times. And like I said, this podcast as a whole should be at that Mid-Hudson Civic Center show, July 26th. I'm definitely looking forward
So hopefully
to it.
we'll see you there.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
can,
yeah. Definitely,
We're gonna-
definitely see me there.
yeah, for sure. We're definitely going to try when we go to the Civic Center show. We're definitely going to try and find some of you guys that we've had here on the show and maybe heckle you a little bit. Maybe
Little
come
bit,
just say
yeah.
hello and be nice. It
Mm.
depends on what we're doing, but
Perhaps.
You know, I don't know if you guys were at the well, no, I actually wasn't there at the last Mid-Hudson event in January, but last summer I distinctly recall referring to the inhabitants of that building as poverty-stricken Poughkeepsie, and they didn't seem to like that all that much.
I mean, you weren't wrong.
You're not wrong.
as a
You're not
person
wrong.
as a
That
person
one-
who's lived almost his whole life in Poughkeepsie, sir, I would like to say I resemble that remark.
Hit a little close to home.
I live like 15, 20. I work at Poughkeepsie, so
It's true.
Beautiful. Poughkeepsie. I should have used that.
Poughkeepsie.
Hold on, wait a
they
minute.
can't
Are you
afford the-
turning heel on us now? Come on, dude. Like we've had this whole nice conversation. Now you're going heel on us? Come on.
Those are the best heel turns.
That's true.
Oh, that's
The
true.
ones you never
I
see
gotta
coming.
respect it. I gotta respect it.
Well, no, I mean, anything else from any other questions, you guys? I think this was awesome.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this has been a good time, man.
This was awesome
Yeah.
for sure.
Great time, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Well-
like I said, I ran through the Northeast Wrestling dates. Northeastwrestling.com. If you need all that information, they're on Twitter at NEW Wrestling 1. Where can we follow you on social media, by the way?
You can
Tell
follow
the
me on
people.
Twitter and Instagram at Jared Talks Loud, all one word. Facebook.com/Jared Talks Loud, and go to my Pro Wrestling Tees store. It's prowrestlingtees.com/Jared Silberkleit Trust Fund.
That is the first pro wrestling tease ad
This
we've
is-
had
yeah.
on here.
Yeah.
We're
That's
moving
it.
up.
I'm gonna have to go see what kind of merch you got, bro.
Yeah, for
Oh, you gotta pick yourself up one of my 7-figure T-shirts.
I might have to do that actually. You
Oh,
know
yeah.
what? I need some new wrestling t-shirts.
You do.
I do.
I'm shocked you haven't been yet.
Well, yeah, I just haven't, really gone shopping for wrestling t-shirts in a while.
Nah,
And I think
there's
it's
no
time,
better
I think
time
it's
than
time to update the wardrobe.
There's no better time than now.
Right? Absolutely.
I have
Any
four,
other plugs
and
you
two of
want to
them are
get
the
out while
same-
you? Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say I only have 4, but 2 of them are the same guy,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Malachi Black.
Yeah. I knew that was the 2 that you had. Yeah. Any other plugs you want to get out while we still got you here, man?
If let's see, if anybody wants to go to Wrecking Ball Ligursky's social media and taunt him for being a purveyor of misinformation and not eating his vegetables, then yeah, I would encourage that.
I heard he smells bad too.
He does. He smells terrible. Let Wrecking Ball know that he smells like garbage.
There you
Go to at Wrecking Ball 75. Wrecking Ball smells like garbage.
And
You're
there
the
you have
man.
it.
That's
There
it.
you have it.
Let him know. I want to bombard him with hate messaging.
All right. We're gonna have to send him
We'll do
something
that.
from the 6-man
Absolutely.
tag page. We'll just be
Let's
like,
do it.
We'll have to.
It's the
Um,
8-man tag tonight.
That's right.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right. Our socials. You can follow us on Twitter at 6-man tag. You can follow us on Instagram at
This
6-man
guy-
tag
This guy
podcast.
over here is at the real VSK.
I swear I swear I don't wrestle.
Okay. Take your word for it.
Positive.
All right. Okay.
Where else? Oh, you can email us 6mantagpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
Did we get any this week?
Wait, of course not. No, nobody emails us.
Oh god damn.
Send us a DM. It's the same shit.
All right.
If you have questions,
That was the funny-
Slide
I'm like
in.
texting people right now, be like, what the fuck, guys
send us an email, guys.
You guys are slacking.
and gals.
Anthony, get on it. I'm talking to you.
Justin, we need another one.
just pointing
Yeah.
out, listeners.
You know, I pride myself on the fact that I didn't cave. I didn't swear on this show.
No, you didn't.
No.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
That's
That's
That is-
really fucking impressive.
You're way more fucking professional than we fucking are.
We're not.
Now we're all right. We're
We're
getting
not
off.
professional. We
Okay,
are.
now
Um,
we're just
Anyway, follow
awesome.
us on
You guys-
the YouTubes too.
Yeah, subscribe. Put the notification bell on, so that way you get those alerts right to your phone or whatever
And then you
device.
get to see our faces.
You do. You should definitely watch on YouTube and subscribe. Yeah, follow us. We just did a giveaway not too long ago. We gave away an Edge Funko Pop figure. Congrats to the winner of that. We'll have more in the future, so follow us for free shit.
Everybody loves free shit.
Everybody
everybody
does.
loves free shit.
Not all of us have a trust fund and lots of money that we can afford everything we want, but I feel like even the rich love free shit.
That's the rich love free shit more than anybody else.
Oh, this is true.
Anyway, while you're
but this is-
following all those, don't forget to follow
Yep.
the Paperweight Project,
Sick music.
which is right behind me. That is some music that is it's going to be a collection of covers and originals coming your way. Right now we got 2 songs up, but there are more to come. And there will be some music videos accompanying those. So check out the YouTube page as well. It's all at the Paperweight Project. Check it out.
I believe
And,
I might be helping CJ with something very soon.
Yes, I think we're, as we mentioned before, we'll be working on a collab coming soon. A 6-man tag Paperweight Project collab.
And you can follow me on the streets because I'm lonely.
True words never been spoken.
Oh man. All right.
I think that about wraps it up,
wraps it up.
boys.
It does. Yeah.
That wraps it up. For Jared, our awesome guest, thank you.
Thanks.
For CJ, for Skylar, I'm Mike. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Night night.